Hi guys, welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the issue that has shaken Port Charles to its core, the shocking murder that brought a dark and violent turn to the wedding of Drew and Willow Tate. What was supposed to be a joyous and long-awaited celebration quickly became a scene of horror and confusion, marking yet another turning point in the tangled lives of the people of Port Charles. For Drew and Willow, the road to marriage was never easy. Controversy, conflict, and complicated history surrounded their decision to wed. But despite the lack of support from many in town and deep disapproval from key family members, they decided to move forward. Drew and Willow planned their wedding knowing full well they wouldn't be met with applause from everyone. Long-standing tension with the Corinthos family, and resolved resentments, and the chaos surrounding Drew's past made this union controversial. Yet the couple remained steadfast. They believed in their bond and trusted that this step was the beginning of a new, peaceful chapter in their lives. Nina Reeves, Willow's biological mother, had never hidden her opinion about the match. She disapproved of Drew's connection to her daughter, especially given his long list of enemies and the danger that often followed him. But Nina made a decision not for herself, but for Willow. Though she disliked the marriage, she stepped up to help plan the wedding reception, choosing to put aside her personal feelings in order to be present for her daughter on this important day. The ceremony was set to take place at a luxury venue in the heart of Port Charles. Decorated with pastel florals, vintage lanterns, and soft string lights, the setting captured the romantic aesthetic Drew and Willow had always wanted. Guests began arriving in the early afternoon. Though not everyone from their social circles showed up with smiles or blessings, the general mood was cheerful. Willow looked stunning, Drew appeared composed, and for a brief moment, it seemed like they might finally find peace. Nina handled the event logistics professionally, ensuring everything ran on time. She stayed away from unnecessary confrontations, focusing her energy on managing the service staff, food arrangements, and decor. Everyone was seated, the vows were exchanged, and applause followed. The newlyweds kissed. The reception began shortly after, with music, speeches, and champagne flowing. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. That illusion shattered in an instant. As the reception progressed and guests mingled and celebrated, Martin Gray, an attorney often involved with the Corinthos and Quartermain affairs, excused himself to the restroom. He had barely stepped inside when he let out a horrified cry. Within seconds, chaos rippled through the room as his shouts drew nearby guests to the scene. Lying on the cold tile floor was the lifeless body of a woman. Security rushed in to secure the area. Drew and Willow, who were nearby, came to investigate. What they found stopped them both cold. Drew stepped forward, knelt down, and immediately recognized the victim. It was Jacinda. Jacinda wasn't just a stranger from town or an anonymous face. She was a woman Drew had once been intimately involved with, someone from his past whom he had quietly left behind, thinking their story was over. Their relationship hadn't ended badly, but it had ended unexpectedly, with Drew walking away and Jacinda disappearing from his life soon after. To see her dead body suddenly appear at his wedding on what was supposed to be the happiest day of his life was more than a shock. It was a direct and deliberate message. The police were called in immediately. Detective Harrison Chase and Officer Dante Falconeri arrived to begin a formal investigation. The area was sealed off, and all guests were told to remain inside until initial statements were taken. What the authorities found confirmed what many feared: Jacinda had not been killed in the restroom. She had been murdered elsewhere, and her body transported to the venue before being placed inside. The condition of her body showed no signs of a struggle in the bathroom. There were no bruises from being dropped or dragged. Her skin was pale, with early signs of rigor mortis setting in, indicating she'd been dead for at least a few hours before the discovery. The killer had gone to great lengths to ensure she was found at precisely this time and place. Willow was visibly shaken, unable to process the fact that her wedding had become a crime scene. Drew stood silent, tension in every muscle, his thoughts racing. He understood what this meant. This was no random act. Someone had chosen to target him. Someone had dug into his past, found Jacinda, and used her in a twisted warning. But who? That was the question no one could answer. Drew has made countless enemies over the years. His connections to Aurora Media, past involvement in international conflicts, entanglements with Victor Casadini, his role in disrupting Cyrus Renault's operations. And his tense history with several Port Charles power players meant that there were dozens of suspects, maybe more. Was this an act of revenge by someone from Drew's Black Ops past? A business rival looking to ruin his credibility? A ghost from his Casa Dini conflicts? Or was someone in Port Charles pulling strings from behind the curtain, hiding in plain sight? Drew didn't know where to begin. Detective Chase began with basic questions. How long had it been since Drew saw Jacinda? When and how did they meet? Did she ever threaten him? Did she have other enemies? Drew answered truthfully. They had met shortly after his return to Port Charles. They dated briefly, shared a few quiet weekends, and then separated. He hadn't heard from her since. Investigators reviewed security footage from the hotel. A suspicious delivery van had entered through the service entrance a few hours before the ceremony. The plates were either fake or covered. Staff members said a man in a catering uniform wheeled in several large containers but did not return. One container, a linen-covered trolley, may have concealed the body. A search of Jacinda's belongings provided further complications. In her clutch, police found a partially written note. The text read, "He doesn't know. I have to tell him. They warned me not to come, but I couldn't stay quiet." The handwriting was confirmed to be hers. But who warned her? What did she know that could get her killed? Drew was immediately convinced that the murder was personal. This wasn't about Drew and Jacinda's romance. This was about secrets, leverage, and fear. Someone wanted to remind Drew that his past could haunt him at any time. Someone wanted him unstable, exposed, humiliated in front of the entire community. Nina, standing beside her daughter in the chaos, looked increasingly uneasy. She had her own theories about who might be responsible but kept them to herself. She had seen too much in her years in Port Charles not to sense when someone was sending a message. Carly speculated that someone inside the Corinthos family's criminal past was resurfacing. Sonny, who remained distant from the event, received word of the incident but declined to appear. Michael, ever protective of Willow, immediately turned his focus on securing the family. He ensured the children were taken home safely and away from the public eye. His concern was that the killer had more than just Drew in their sights. If someone was willing to use a body to send a message, what else were they capable of? For Willow, the trauma ran deeper. This was her wedding day, her moment, and it had been stolen, poisoned by a corpse and buried secrets. As she sat in a private lounge after questioning, she confessed to Nina that she wasn't sure she could move forward. Not just with the marriage, but with her entire life in Port Charles. The darkness felt like it followed her. She wondered if marrying Drew had put a target on her back. Drew, meanwhile, vowed to find out who was behind it. Not just for Jacinda, but for Willow. For his future. He met with Curtis Ashford to quietly gather intelligence beyond what the police could find. Drew wanted to keep his own investigation quiet. He couldn't trust anyone, yet not when the killer might be someone who'd smiled at him earlier that evening. Port Charles was once again thrust into uncertainty. A wedding turned into a murder investigation. A bride unsure of her future. A groom chasing ghosts from his past. And a city of friends and enemies, all asking the same question. Who killed Jess and Don? Why was Drew the target? Next, we will uncover the intriguing layers of a seemingly innocent gift that could spell danger in Port Charles, a wrench given by Carly Spencer to Jack Brennan. What starts as a heartfelt gesture of gratitude might soon transform into a pivotal element of suspense and treachery. From the personal significance behind the gift to the dark possibilities it hints at, we're diving deep into every angle of this storyline with fresh perspectives, imaginative twists, and expanded details that will keep you guessing about what's next in the heart of General Hospital. A thoughtful gift with hidden potential. In the episode aired on June 16th, viewers witnessed a touching moment between Carly Spencer and Jack Brennan, as Carly presented him with a unique thank you gift. A sturdy wrench engraved with the playful phrase "to a Jack of all trades." The pun on Jack's name added a light-hearted touch to their interaction, but the gift itself carried deeper meaning. Brennan, who recently stepped in to fix a plumbing issue in Carly's kitchen at the Metro Court, had shared a personal tidbit about his father being a plumber, making the wrench a fitting symbol of their growing connection. Their exchange, set against the backdrop of Carly's bustling diner with the clatter of dishes in the background, highlighted a rare moment of vulnerability for both characters. Jack, visibly moved, remarked that this might be the most meaningful gift he's ever received, his voice softening with genuine appreciation. However, in the unpredictable world of Port Charles, even the most sentimental tokens can take on a darker purpose. Could this wrench, with its heavy metal frame and personal inscription, become more than just a memento, perhaps a key piece in a larger, more sinister puzzle? A bond strengthens amidst unspoken dangers. The chemistry between Carly and Jack has been simmering, and this wrench exchange marks a significant step in their evolving relationship. As they stood close in Carly's kitchen, the memory of Jack rolling up his sleeves to tackle her broken sink water splashing as he laughed off the mess lingered between them, forging a bond built on small, shared victories. Carly, often guarded due to her tumultuous past, seemed to let her walls down, her smile genuine as she handed over the gift wrapped in a simple craft paper box. Jack's gratitude wasn't just for the wrench but for the trust Carly placed in him, a rare commodity in a town rife with deception. Yet, soap opera fans know that such tender scenes are rarely without consequence. A heavy tool like a wrench isn't just a symbol of handyman skills in the dramatic landscape of General Hospital. It's a potential weapon waiting for the right or wrong moment to strike. Social media platforms are already alight with speculation, with fans tweeting under hashtags like Renkofdoom, wondering if this sweet gesture foreshadows a deadly turn. Will this emblem of their friendship cement their alliance, or become the very thing that tears them apart? A tool of gratitude or a weapon of betrayal? Let's not ignore the elephant in the room. A wrench, especially one as robust as the one Carly gifted, is far from harmless. While Carly's intent was purely to honor Jack's helpfulness, the underlying possibilities are chilling. In the hands of someone with ill intent, this plumber's tool could easily become a blunt instrument of violence, capable of delivering a fatal blow in a heated confrontation. Picture a shadowy figure sneaking through the back alleys of Port Charles, clutching the engraved wrench, its inscribed words glinting under a flickering streetlight as they plot their next move. Fans are abuzz with theories that this item might not only be used to harm someone but could also serve as a perfect piece of evidence to frame Jack for a crime he didn't commit. After all, his name is quite literally on the potential murder weapon. Could a jealous rival or a vengeful enemy seize this opportunity to turn a heartfelt gift into a tool of betrayal? The stage is set for a classic whodunit, with the wrench poised to play a starring role in a narrative of deceit and danger. A plot device with deadly implications. The airtime dedicated to this wrench in the June 16th episode wasn't mere filler. Soap operas like General Hospital don't linger on objects without purpose. The camera's close-up on the gleaming tool as Jack held it, coupled with the meaningful dialogue surrounding its presentation, signals that it will resurface in a significant way. Online forums are rife with predictions, including a wild theory that the wrench might be used in tandem with another infamous Port Charles artifact, Casadini family knife. Known for its bloody history, imagine a climactic scene in a dimly lit warehouse by the docks, where an assailant wields both the wrench and the knife in a desperate act of violence, leaving behind a trail of questions and crimson. Whether Jack himself is forced to use the wrench in self-defense during an ambush by a mob enforcer, or it's stolen and planted at a crime scene to incriminate him. One thing is certain, its reappearance will come with catastrophic consequences. Could this gift, meant to celebrate a friendship, become the linchpin in a murder mystery that rocks Port Charles to its core? Speculating the next twist in Port Charles. As we look ahead, the potential for a gripping whodunit storyline looms large over Port Charles, with Carly's wrench at the center of the storm. Imagine the chaos unfolding at a crowded gala at the Metro Court, where a prominent figure, perhaps a rival of Jack's with ties to the underworld, is found lifeless in a back room, the engraved wrench lying suspiciously nearby. The Port Charles Police Department, led by a determined Dante Falconeri, would swarm the scene, with Jack immediately topping the suspect list due to the personalized evidence. Carly, torn between defending her friend and grappling with the possibility that her gift played a role in a tragedy, might launch her own investigation, enlisting the help of Spinelli to trace the wrench's journey from her hands to the crime scene. Meanwhile, shadowy figures from Jack's past, perhaps an old WSB contact with a grudge, could emerge as the true culprits, weaving a web of intrigue that tests loyalties and unearths buried secrets. What if the victim's identity ties back to a long-standing Corinthos family feud, pulling Sonny into the fray as well? The possibilities are endless, and the tension is palpable. Community buzz and fan theories. The General Hospital fanbase is already in a frenzy over the wrench's ominous potential, flooding comment sections and fan groups with creative scenarios. Some speculate that a scorned lover of Carly's, seeking revenge for her growing closeness with Jack, might steal the tool from his apartment during a staged break-in, later using it to commit a crime that points directly to him. Others imagine a more tragic twist: Jack, caught in a life-or-death struggle while protecting Carly from an unseen attacker late at night near the pier, might reluctantly use the wrench to save her, only to face accusations of murder when the assailant doesn't survive. A particularly imaginative theory posits a double cross involving a new character, a mysterious plumber claiming to be a cousin of Jack's father who plants the wrench at a crime scene to settle an old family debt. These fan-driven narratives highlight the wrench's role as more than a prop. It's a symbol of how quickly trust can turn to turmoil in Port Charles. What are your thoughts, GH fans? Will this gift of gratitude become the harbinger of heartbreak? Next, we will unravel the explosive drama surrounding Sonny Corinthos and the upcoming christening of baby Daisy Gilmore Corinthos, an event poised to be anything but peaceful in Port Charles. Whispers of danger, shocking betrayals, and heartbreaking possibilities swirl around this blessed occasion, with threats ranging from kidnappings to mob violence. Join us as we expand on every twist, introduce new layers of intrigue, and delve into the intricate web of motives and mysteries that could forever alter the lives of Sonny, Sasha, Michael, and their loved ones. A joyous day overshadowed by danger. The christening of baby Daisy Gilmore Corinthos, the precious daughter of Sasha Corbin and Michael Corinthos, should be a moment of pure joy, celebrated with family and friends in the historic St. Timothy's Church in Port Charles. Yet, dark clouds loom over this sacred event as rumors persist of a sinister presence targeting the infant. Whispers in the underworld suggest that one of Sonny Corinthos' many enemies, perhaps a rival mob boss seeking to dethrone him, has set their sights on Daisy as a means to strike at Sonny's heart. The mere thought of a kidnapping during the christening, with guests in their finest attire and the scent of lilies filling the air, sends shivers down the spine. Picture a shadowy figure slipping into the church's back entrance during the ceremony, their intentions hidden behind a seemingly innocent baptismal gift. Could this enemy be working with a disgruntled former associate of Sonny's, someone who knows the family's routines and vulnerabilities? The stakes are unimaginably high as the Corinthos family prepares for a day meant for celebration, unaware of the peril that might await in the sacred space. Sonny in the crosshairs or attack. While baby Daisy may be a potential target, some speculate that the true focus of this looming threat is Sonny himself. The best-case scenario, though still devastating, involves a dramatic interruption at the christening by law enforcement. District Attorney Justine Turner, a rising star with a relentless ambition to cement her legacy, has been gunning for Sonny for months, combing through every shred of evidence to build an airtight case against him. Imagine the scene, as the priest blesses Daisy with holy water, the church doors burst open, and Justine, flanked by officers, strides in with a warrant, placing Sonny in handcuffs before the stunned congregation. Her determination to make a name for herself knows no bounds, even if it means tarnishing a sacred family moment. Justine might have uncovered damning evidence of Sonny's involvement in a recent underground deal, tipped off by a mysterious informant with a personal vendetta. Such a public arrest would not only humiliate Sonny but also send shockwaves through Port Charles, with the press swarming outside the church to capture every moment of the Corinthos patriarch's downfall. Will Justine's bold move succeed, or could her timing ignite unforeseen consequences? Mob violence threatens to erupt. A far graver possibility casts an even darker shadow over Daisy's christening, a violent mob showdown that could turn the day into a tragic bloodbath. Jen Sidwell, a dangerous figure with a history of ruthless power plays, recently warned Sonny of impending violence tied to territorial disputes in Port Charles. Could this christening, attended by many of Sonny's allies and family, become the perfect target for an ambush orchestrated by Sidwell or his associates? Envision a tense moment just after the ceremony, as guests spill onto the church steps for photos, only to be interrupted by the screech of tires and the crack of gunfire from a drive-by attack. The haunting memory of a bomb planted in Sonny's penthouse after his heart surgery, a failed assassination attempt, still lingers, with the perpetrator yet unidentified. If a mob-related incident erupts on this day, it might be the final straw for Sonny, pushing him to reconsider his dangerous lifestyle for the sake of his family's safety. Perhaps a near-death experience, shielding Daisy during the chaos, could be the catalyst for Sonny to seek an exit from the mob world, negotiating with old contacts for a way out. The potential for bloodshed on such a holy day adds a heartbreaking layer of tension to an already fraught occasion. Sasha's precarious future and a tragic exit. Amidst the threats to Sonny and Daisy, a heartbreaking rumor about Sasha Corbin herself adds another dimension of dread. With Sophia Matson's contract reportedly not renewed, speculation abounds that Sasha might exit General Hospital in a dramatic and final manner. During a tender moment months ago, Sasha named Michael as Daisy's legal guardian in the event of her incapacity, a decision that seemed routine for a new mother securing her child's future. Now, that choice feels ominously prophetic. Could Sasha fall victim to the same enemy targeting Sonny, perhaps caught in the crossfire of a mob hit gone wrong as she cradles Daisy during the christening after-party at the Metro Court? Her history of enduring relentless tragedy from personal losses to emotional turmoil has endeared her to fans, making the thought of losing her unbearable. The writers seem to have a penchant for testing Sasha's resilience. A devastating accident or a targeted attack could rob Daisy of her mother on a day meant for beginnings. Might Sasha's final act be a heroic sacrifice, protecting her daughter from harm as guests scream in panic around her? The uncertainty of her fate hangs heavy over Port Charles, leaving viewers on edge for what's to come. Sidwell's mysterious motives and custody intrigue. Adding to the tangled web of danger is Jen Sidwell's enigmatic involvement in the Corinthos family's affairs, particularly his role in Michael and Willow Tate's custody battle over Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. Recent revelations indicate that Sidwell bribed the judge to award sole custody to Michael, a move that baffles even the most seasoned Port Charles observers. What could Sidwell gain from ensuring Michael's control over the children? One theory suggests he might be using them as leverage to pressure Sonny into relinquishing control of the lucrative piers, a vital asset in the town's underground economy. Picture Sidwell in a clandestine meeting at a dimly lit warehouse, hinting to a subordinate that the children's safety depends on Sonny's compliance. Alternatively, his motives could be more personnel, perhaps a hidden connection to Willow's past, tied to her time with the Dawn of Day cult, that he plans to exploit for untold reasons. The puzzle remains incomplete, with Sidwell's true intentions shrouded in mystery. Could a late-night confrontation between Michael and Sidwell at the pier reveal more about this scheme, or will Sonny uncover the truth through a trusted informant before disaster strikes? Protecting Daisy, a family united or torn apart. At the heart of this storm is baby Daisy, an innocent caught in a maelstrom of vendettas and power plays. The persistent rumor of a stalker fixated on the child, potentially an operative of Sidwell's or an independent enemy of Sonny's, fuels fears of a kidnapping during the christening. Imagine the terror of Sasha turning to check on Daisy in her stroller during the reception, only to find it empty, a cryptic note left behind demanding a ransom or Sonny's surrender. The Corinthos family, already fractured by past conflicts, might unite in a desperate search, with Michael tapping into ELQ resources for private investigators while Sonny mobilizes his street contacts. However, the stress could also deepen existing rifts, with accusations flying over who failed to protect the baby. If Sidwell is behind the stalking, his endgame could tie back to the pier dispute or a broader plan to dismantle Sonny's empire piece by piece. The thought of Daisy growing up without her mother, or enduring the trauma of abduction on her christening day, is a gut-wrenching possibility that underscores the high cost of Sonny's world. Will the family's love for Daisy be enough to overcome the threats encircling them, or is tragedy inevitable? Thank you for joining us on the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel for this in-depth exploration of the shocking events surrounding Daisy Gilmore Corinthos' christening. From Sonny's potential arrest to Sasha's uncertain fate and Sidwell's shadowy schemes, Port Charles is a battleground of suspense and heartbreak. What do you think? Will Daisy be safe, or is a devastating loss on the horizon? Share your predictions in the comments, and stay tuned for the next gripping updates from the heart of General Hospital.